Alright, so it's currently 3 o'clock in the morning and Jake Paul has just beat Ryan Berland in a boxing match. And I want to talk about this fight because I've got a lot to say. And I just don't want to say it in my head. So let's make a video on it. I know I normally cover wrestling on this channel, but I really want to talk about this boxing match because it just does not sit right with me. I will be the first to say that I have been a fan of Jake Paul's boxing career. I have watched him go from beating Deji back in 2018 all the way up until now. I've not missed a fight. I've seen every win. I've seen the one loss against Tommy Fury. But we're at the point now where we just gotta really admit to ourselves that what he's doing is just bullshit. This pro boxing route that he's going down is just complete and utter shite. And if he continues to fight guys like Ryan Berland, Andre August, then yeah, his record's gonna be good, his knockouts are gonna go up and everything's gonna look great, but we just gotta talk about the level of these opponents. That's the big problem here. Anyone can look good against a guy who doesn't throw it back, and that's exactly what Ryan Berland was doing here. He was not throwing back. Do you wanna know why? Because he's not a... Okay, let's actually get the facts straight. Ryan Berland is a professional boxer, okay, technically, but he's very inactive. He's also an Uber driver, and he's very out of shape. So I would personally say that Ryan Berland was a professional boxer, but he's 35 years old, he's well out of his prime, if he even had one, and Jake fought that version of him, right? Now look at this. We see the shape of Ryan Berland, and not the body shame, but the guy does not look like he's trained. And I know everyone has different body types, but just take a look at this guy. I mean, like, bro. And I remember the commentator saying, oh, you should never judge a book by its cover. Well, in boxing, you should. If someone shows up to a fight out of shape, then they clearly have not trained hard enough and they clearly do not want to win the fight. They just don't care. They're here for the money. Either that or it's just pure laziness and a bit of delusion because they think they can take it easy and they'll still win. And then we have Jake Paul, who, to be fair to him, you know, he's a hard worker and he's 27 years old, very much on the rise in boxing. So this is just such a terrible matchup, even though they're trying to make you think that it's not, because, you know, Ryan's record is like 17-2. But that was like 20 years ago when he was racking up them dubs. So we're going to take a look at the fight here. I'm going to watch it back right away. You know, I was really hopeful that Ryan would take Jake to the trenches, to the deep waters, like he actually said, but of course that was me just being hopeful. But in the back of my mind I still knew that Jake was going to spark him out one way or another and he was going to end it early, and that's exactly what he did. It was a round one knockout. I mean, it wasn't like a clean knockout, but the ref had to get in there and stop it because Ryan Berland was getting absolutely destroyed and he wasn't even throwing any punches back. Already, just looking at him, you just know he's fucked. Look at the way he's moving, bro. Does that look like a pro boxer to you? Look at the... Yeah. So when I was watching that live, I was like, yeah, he's done. He's cooked. And I've got to say, like, Jake Paul has had so much criticism for every single fight, but I have always respected him for taking on the likes of Tyron Woodley, Nate Diaz, who, I mean, they're obviously former MMA fighters, but they still, you know, went the distance. Well, at least Tyron did the first time around. But then when he fought Tommy Fury, everyone was like, oh, he's been exposed now. And that kind of like ruined his credibility. So I feel like he's having these easy paths here. He's having these easy fights that he's taken to just build up his reputation and try and make it as strong as possible. But everyone's seeing through this. Like, it's just complete and utter tripe. And I know he's going to come off here and he's going to go on the podcast and everything saying, oh, what are they going to say now? The haters, you know, the haters are just going to run their mouth. You know, they say I've got to fight a professional boxer, then I knock two of them out, and then it's like, now what, you know, what are you gonna say now? I'll tell you what we're gonna say: fight someone who's active, please. I'm not even like a hater. I am a Jake Paul fan, I swear to God, but I'm not watching any more of these fucking fights, bro, against these old ass or these unprepared fighters. It's just so shit. Like, what are we doing here? And it's funny how it's the big pay-per-view fights like Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, you know, it's them fights that are not against professional boxers, but it's them fights that are the hardest for Jake. These professional boxers are not professional boxers, not really. I guess they are statistically, but they're so shit. Bro, my granny could beat this man's ass. This guy is just asking to be slapped. I'm actually surprised he didn't. Although, since the referee steps in, you know, the referee saved his life. But look at this. Yeah, wobbles him. Fair play to him for standing on his feet there. You know, he remains up. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he's obviously getting rocked here. Jake just always dominant. Misses the uppercut again. Yeah, so Jake actually missed a lot of shots here. But look at this, bro. Jake's missing so many of them, though, look. And the referee ends it there. He falls to the canvas. There we go. Like, that's it. And if you're a Jake Paul fan, you might be watching this thinking that I am a Jake Paul hater, you know? But, like, I remember back when Jake started fighting, you know, or started taking the big fights like Tyron Woodley, I was sitting there shitting myself for him because they were such high-risk fights. Now, he's just not putting... There's no risk. Tommy Fury was the last risk he ever took. I mean, Nate Diaz, to be fair, was a bit of a risk. I'll give him that. But Tommy Fury was the last big risk, you know? And he obviously lost that. So I'm sorry that this is a negative take on the Jake Paul fight, but that's just the way it is. I'm going to be honest, you know? I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my god, that was a crazy knockout. Whoa, no one expected that. Like, the opponent was so bad. So bad. Like, you cannot be celebrating that win. As if you've just done something good there. And, like, Jake, you know, he seems to go fucking hard in camp, you know. He's training day in, day out. All just to sleep these easy-ass fighters inside one round. Like, it's just... what is going on here? We need someone to really take him all the way again. And Jake can go all the way. We saw that with Nate Diaz. He went 10 rounds there, so he's got good cardio. You know, he puts in the work. But the opponents he's fighting are just so unbelievably shit that it's just not even worth the training he's doing and the way he's pushing himself. He could have just literally sat around eating McDonald's and he still would have beat this Ryan guy. So let me know in the comments what you think about this fight. Do you think Jake has done something good here? Do you think this is a very well-deserved win? Or do you think it was an easy win for the problem child?